beautiful Monday night here in the great big state of Texas. I want to thank you for sticking around, for staying around, for joining me once again for another episode of the Truth Seekers Live podcast. This is going to be a really interesting one. And, it's interesting because I wasn't going to do this episode initially. I wasn't going to do this live stream. But the way that things worked out and the way that things have been working out this week and this month, it just happened to line up perfectly with the way that a lot of things are working out in life. So first and foremost, if you're driving home, if you're at the job right now, wherever you are, I just want you to once again, hopefully take this message in, enjoy it, and I hope that you can get something out of it. And I want to thank you once again for joining. Go in here. From this day forward, henceforth, we're going to be having a lot more content on the channel, like damn near content every day. So it's getting ready to crank up, and it's going to be really interesting because we're going to have a lot more different style content coming up. For a while, it's going to be the same content, but it's getting ready to crank up significantly. So if you like the content, if you like the styles, and you've liked the conversations that we've been having in more of the area that we're going, then stick around, stay tuned, because it's going to get pretty interesting. It's going to be a lot more work for you to indulge in, and for the member side as well, it'll be the same. Now, today's topic of discussion, we're going to dive into right after we get into the news articles, as well as the national day of the day today. But I want to go ahead and preface the message once again with the message by saying that this is in no means meant to bash anybody, but just once again to level the playing field, if you will, or to just bring the reality of the world that we live in as far as dating, as far as society-wide social standing, as far as just happenstance day-to-day activities, as far as everything and all the concepts that we talk about in totality on this channel, and as they relate to our community and to the community that we live in America. This topic and this discussion doesn't happen enough, particularly in the red pill and in the manosphere, with guys who think that, they get better, or as the old adage goes, men age like wine and women age like milk, or something like that, right? This is how a lot of these guys think. And so I want to bring this topic to discussion because I'm going to bring to light a lot of different realities about what happens as all of us get older as humans. But this needs to be said, not to prove a point or anything, but once again to start having the conversation of reality and to start bringing this world, this matrix world that these content creators create, right? And offer you these pills as if they're a various solution to your fix, to your problems that you're experiencing in reality, when in reality they aren't most of the time. Very few actually have the fix for you. But I'm going to let you decipher that message for yourself today. So let's go ahead and share our national holiday of the day today. Before we get into today's message, it's going to be a really interesting one. Today is National Drummer Day. If you're a drummer, shout out to you. It's America Recycles Day. I know we're in green stance as far as the international community goes, so make sure you recycle. It's Clean Your Refrigerator Out Day. I definitely need to take that one into consideration. Govardhan Puja, I'm not sure exactly what that is. It's an Indian holiday. I Love to Write Day, as well as National Bunt Day. Let's see, National Philanthropy Day, National Raisin Bran Cereal Day. It's a lot of good holidays today, so I hope you're enjoying whatever holiday you decide to celebrate in. We have another news article. Apparently, the second person has been naturally, I don't know how credible this is, but I think this is pretty credible, naturally cured of HIV without medication. Depending on your stance and how you follow news and what you believe in, you might not believe this article to be credible or true, but this happened apparently in Argentina. An unnamed woman has been declared cured of HIV without receiving a stem cell transplant. Only once has a person been reportedly naturally cured of HIV, Lorraine Williamberg of San Francisco in 2020. So check that article out. We're advancing in science and technology, and very, very, very disturbing news I want to share today. Very sad news today. We lost a very good brother yesterday, I believe, by the name of Darren Marion. Now, Darren was actually a content creator here on YouTube. He had his own channel, and his content is still up to view right now. So I just want to once again give my condolences to Darren Marion's family. He was a good man. He was a business owner. He was the very best and the very brightest of us that's here with a glass eye. I assume one of the coffees that he brewed, he cured himself. He actually had a coffee business that he started from the ground up. We talk about entrepreneurship all the time. He was married. He was a father. And he was a good man. I've heard a lot of good things about him. So I want to send my condolences to his wife, who's been tuning in and very lovingly and graciously sharing her experiences and her good times and memories with him, and allowing her to share herself, as one of the commenters said on Up to Unicorns live stream dedicated to him, with us and the world. So Darren Marion, rest in peace, my brother. Rest in power. Rest in paradise. And we'll see each other once again, man. So I just want to give a huge, huge, huge shout out to that brother there. Let's go ahead and go on to the topic of today's discussion, ladies and gentlemen, and why I wanted to talk about this today, because this is something that we don't talk about enough. This is something that's very real. This is a reality, especially as we start to grow older, especially as I start to grow older. I'm a man that's 30 now. Next year, I'll be 31, and I'm faced to, face the realities as all men are today's age. And I want to really, once again, place a message before I say this message, that we're going to talk about both sides. We're going to talk about men and women, and the aging process, and how that, and what that means, and how that impacts our lives and things of that nature. We're going to break it all down. The first half, I'm going to talk about a lot of guys specifically, and then we're going to continue on, because once again, I want to approach this topic of the conversation from the angle that a lot of guys really approach this conversation, and that a lot of males see and approach this conversation in, which is the thought that a lot of males do naturally get better as they age, or whatever it might be. Now, there is some truth to this case in some sense, in the word, or in the fact that guys tend to at least make more money a little bit later in their lives, in their later 20s, and most of the time earlier 30s, or later 30s and earlier 40s, as compared to they do in their earlier 18s, or their teens, and their earlier 20s, or whatever it might be. But this is the same for men and women for the most part, as far as just business, white collar and blue collar jobs go, as far as legal employment goes, or whatever you want to just judge that barometer by. This is the case. But however, a lot of men seem to relish in the fact that, oh, once I'm 30, once I'm 35, once I'm 40, I'll be able to have this life that I've built, and all of a sudden the playing field, the odds will become equal, because these women who rejected me, if they're a man who's been scorned in the past, will finally have to come back, will finally have to face winter, will finally have to face retribution, and see that the man that she rejected in days past has come to take over the rest of the world, and to conquer, and to finally be the man that she saw, that she didn't see, that I saw myself as being in her life, right? And so it's this fulfillment fantasy, when in reality, life has shown us, as far as just the world goes, as far as this entire worldwide pandemic, as far as just life having just very drastic courses it can take at different times, that your plan isn't always a solid plan through and through. And I'm not particularly talking about anybody in this case, but this happens to all of us, right? As we continue to go, as we continue to live, each second lends ourselves and lends us over to the possibility of something changing or altering our future or our destiny, whatever you want to think of, your trajectory, your path in life. It has the possibility every second that you're here, something could happen to alter or change that destiny, that reality that you see for yourself in the future. And so a lot of these guys, a lot of guys and a lot of people are banking on something that might happen in the future. And while it's great to plan, I completely believe in planning, right? It's successful people plan. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. I understand planning. We also have to be completely honest about the reality of where we are right now, and understanding where you are right now in comparison to always continuously living in the future. And because if you're living in the future, you're not going to be able to live in the present. If you're not going to be able to live in the present, then yeah, that's going to be pretty detrimental, in my opinion, in life. So let's go back to this entire concept of the wall for everyone. All right, the wall for everyone. Black men have the lowest life expectancy out of everybody in America. I know we talk about black men being the lowest all the time. I'm not trying to harp, especially in this case, for me being a black male. This is not something that I want to be, proud and taking the fact of bringing this to public display in, right? Not on YouTube. I don't like this as much as you think I do. Trust me, I don't. But we have the lowest life expectancy. As a matter of fact, due to misinformation, due to miseducation, whatever you want to say, due to redlining, due to white power, due to white supremacy, because we've had such miseducation on diets, because we've had such miseducation and such misunderstanding of nutrition or whatever it might be for generations, a lot of the issues that we have as black men today, such as diabetes, such as whatever it might be, a lot of black men, including men in my family, face these types of issues as well. It was kind of given to us through generations, unfortunately. And so sometimes, even if a man knows, even if we know, even if people know the better thing to do, we can't fight genetics. And sometimes there's just not as much we can do, right? And so this starts to kind of affect men, and it starts to affect black men specifically in a lot of different ways in comparison to men of other races. Once again, we're known for certain things, high blood pressure. We're known for diabetes, right? We're known for certain types of cancers. We have a propensity to have certain types of diseases more than other races of men. That has been, once again, attributed to a myriad of different factors. A few of them I mentioned beforehand. Moving on. This means that as you grow older as a male, you're going to start to see your body change. Now that I'm 30 years old, science has told me, science has proven that my testosterone is going to decrease by 1%, if not a little bit more, every year after age 30. I'm 30 right now, right? I don't feel obviously any different right now, but I'm sure at 35, I might feel a little bit differently. I certainly don't feel like I'm 18. I can tell you that much. And this is a fact. Science tells me that there is an impending, upcoming, downward, if you will, trajectory of my testosterone, what makes me a man, essentially, however you want to take it. This is scientifical fact. This is scientifical analyzation, right? This is not what truth is saying. This is a fact. And so this idea that men are just going to forever age gracefully and just get better and become better versions of themselves is somewhat of an illusion. We've talked about the illusion de grandeur of a lot of males, a lot of men. This is males of all races. We speak and spoke about black males, but this is males of all races, and they seem to not quite understand the sense of their volatility, the sense of their fragility as males. And as you grow older, you start to understand and experience that a little bit more. But for these younger guys, for these guys who are just now discovering the red pill in their late 20s and their early 30s, for their guys who are really hurt still and really scorned at women, for the guys who are really still upset and follow the pickup artists and the mgtow and whatever it might be, they're not going to grasp these concepts as much. So I'm going to bring a couple videos to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And the first concept, since we're speaking about pills, is actually from the Matrix. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, this is from the Matrix. Now, there was a scene in the Matrix called The Woman in the Red Dress. Now, I want you to kind of understand this, and we're going to topic this a little bit more in the next live stream. I'm not going to talk about this as much, but we are going to talk about the matrix and the illusion of content creators on YouTube, the world that they create for you to make you feel like the world that they created is so real for you, that the destiny that they created is so real for you that you have no other altering path in life. You have no other possibility to do anything else other than what the content creator says. We're going to talk about that. But before we talk about that in the next live stream, we're going to cover the woman in the red dress in this live stream. And it's interesting because it lends a lot of different talking points to this and the next live stream as well. This is once again from the Matrix. I'll turn the volume all the way up for our audio listeners. It's about 2 minutes long. You're not going to miss too much, but I'll explain after the video is done.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
I was.
Look again. Freeze it.
Stop it right here. So in this video, Neo knows that he's in a fake world. Neo knows that he's in a matrix. He knows he's in a simulation. At this point, Morpheus, the black man, also known as oh God, I forget his name in real life. Jesus, I'm so trash. God, what's Morpheus's name in real life? Frick. Anyways, Morpheus has given Neo the red pill, so he's waking up from the fake world. So they're in a training ritual, right? And so they both know, and he's trying to tell him, hey, listen, everything you see around you is fake. But Neo still kind of new. He doesn't quite understand really what Morpheus is saying, and he's still distracted. He hasn't been out of the matrix for too long, and he sees a woman in a red dress. Now, the woman in the red dress is significant because what the woman in the red dress signifies essentially is what we all want, what we all desire, what we all want to be true, but we know it's not true at the very bottom of our hearts, right? You know this isn't the case to be true. Everybody knows it's not the case to be true, but you want it to be true so badly that you still let it become a distraction to you, so much to the point to where in this video and in this particular clip, you see when they freeze, this is actually an agent with a gun that's got his with the gun pointed at Neo's head. It's in the middle of the screen. You can't see it too badly here. You can't see it too well here. That's him in the right-hand side. If you can see my mouse towards the right middle-hand side, Agent Smith. Let me play this a bit forward. See if it gives us a better picture of him. All right, so that's him there, right? Agent Smith. That was the woman in the red dress there. Now, once again, they're in a simulation. He knows this the entire time. Lawrence Fishburne, thank you so much. I'm trash. But once again, because the simulation is so real, because we have such carnal desires, because we as human beings, because we, especially as men, have such carnal desires to see things and to have things as though we want them to be, we'll almost trick ourselves as we see this woman in the red dress. Let's go ahead and move on to this next video here, because this is so fascinating, this woman in the red dress mentality that I see a lot of guys have, right? A lot of guys have. Now, we describe it as a midlife crisis nowadays. Well, a guy goes to buy a new car when he becomes 50. It's a midlife crisis. That is true to a certain extent. Not all guys have this, but a lot of guys in the manosphere do definitely have this. So let's stop and once again play another video. Why I'm playing this video to you is because this video is titled Men Get Better with Age. Here's why. After we listen to this guy explain why men get better with age, we'll come back with another talking point that I have as well. All right. Here's why. Listen to what this guy has to say here.
Or a six-pack of beer, whatever. You can't do those things anymore because you pay for it. You feel like garbage. You can't perform. And, you know, the thing is, we're all getting older, and you can't stop the clock. It's just what it is, right? The clock is wound just once. So my thing is, you've got to look at the positive side here. What are some of the good things that come with aging? Okay.
All right, so we played that, and I forgot to play the very beginning of it. Let me just play the very beginning. Sorry. I didn't play the part I was trying to play.
Hey guys, welcome back to 5nothing100nothing.com. I am using intelligent.
All right.
Starting to feel a little insecure, a little bit bummed out, maybe a little depressed about getting older. You know, you think about when you're in those teen years, 20s, you know, you've got so much energy, you look great, you know, maybe, you know, it's just like a more carefree time. And, you know, you could go out, go on a big bender the night before and, you know, maybe be a little hungover, but it really didn't affect you the way that it does now. You know, eating habits, if you were partying in college and just eating.
So he's pretty much explaining, and I don't know what part of the video I was even looking for at this point, to be honest, but we'll just go ahead and take whatever the hell that was. So he's pretty much explaining as you get older, things change for you, right? And we all know this to be the case, right? You can't drink like you were in college if you're 40 years old. It's going to slam on you. It's going to destroy you. We all know that to be true. But the name of the video still is Why Men Get Better with Age. And I'm sure he's going to give some points why men get better with age in comparison to women. But all throughout the video, he's naming the realities of why. And in all honesty, you don't necessarily get better with age in the sense or in the term or in the meaning of what they try and convey as far as it relates to men and women. There are things that happen to both sides of the ball, right? Both sides of the playing field, right? I'm going to speak about something else as well. All right. I'm going to share you another video here. All right. Show you another video. I've been finding this very interesting, right? There's this thing that men do, and we made videos on guys who go out to get these fake weaves and guys who go out to get hair pieces and things of that nature because they're insecure about going bald or whatever it might be. Everybody wants to look their best no matter what age they're at. And once again, the reality is, as a man, you do look better in your youthful or your younger years, just as your counterpart does. But don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. Some people don't crack at all. Some people look great at age 60. It's just genetics. It's all part of your lottery. It's not one defined way or another. But as far as, in my opinion, a beauty standard is concerned, I'd probably lend that over more to the women as they age in comparison to men. As far as beauty is concerned, traditional beauty. That's just my opinion. Anyways, let's go ahead and watch this video. Why am I showing you this guy right here? Well, I'll show you why I'm showing you this guy. He's going bald. And I'm not hating or dissing anybody that's going bald. I'm sure I'll go bald in the next 5 years or so, whatever it might be. Let's check this out, and I'll explain why I'm playing this.
Just got from the gym. See that? That's not real. This is really what's going on.
All right, so he's got some patches up top, right?
This is really what we got going on, man. Wow. And this is my routine almost every morning.
So it's a thing for guys. It's a lot harder to kind of accept and to go through, right? So let's listen to him talk about this now in an interview.
When I was like 21, and from there it's been hair topic and all type of other things, spray, everything else that you can think of. Honestly, I've been watching your channel for like 2 years.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what you're watching right now is this guy on the right-hand side, this white guy. He runs a channel called Bald Cafe. And what Bald Cafe is, it's a YouTube channel that's dedicated to helping men who are struggling with going bald because it's a very tough thing for a lot of these guys. As a matter of fact, he's got hundreds of videos of guys who are explaining how bad it was for them to lose their hair. This is a form of the wall, if you will, for guys. Guys are going to lose their hair. A lot of guys are going to go bald as they get into their 30s. A lot of guys start to bald as they get into their late 20s. This is a form of the wall. This happens to men as well. Now, whether or not you choose to see balding as a negative thing, a lot of these guys see balding as a negative thing, so much so to the point to where this channel that we're watching right now, or this channel that we're watching right now, has more than 100,000 subscribers of guys who follow and watch this to get inspiration to shave off their heads, because it is such an embarrassing thing for them. And when you listen to these guys tell these stories, you realize that there is definitely a wall for a lot of guys. All right. There's definitely a wall for a lot of guys. If there's a wall for women, there's definitely a wall for a lot of guys. Balding is another part of that wall. And I'll be honest with you, most guys, if you see a guy that's bald, and there's nothing wrong with this, once again, I'm sure I'll go bald in the next 5 years. It's in my genetics. I'm positive I will. If you see a guy that's bald, 9 times out of 10, he probably doesn't want to be bald. 9 times out of 10, he probably had hair loss, right? That's a form of the wall. Watch these videos and listen to the way that these guys talk about this, and you'll understand just how serious it was for them. But let's go ahead and listen for ourselves as we continue.
I've been following it and following everybody else's journey and trying to like gain confidence to do it. And I will always cut my hair low, but I'll grow it back and I'll put the hair topic on to like blend it in and make it seem normal.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I just turned 24, so I mean, I was just
24.
Like, it's this time. I'm tired of wearing hats.
24, and you know,
the topic on,
chopped it off.
And I play basketball a lot, lift weights a lot, so girls are gonna like this. Like that was just my biggest concern because like that's really, you know what I'm saying. Obviously, younger guys just really care about girls or whatever. And when I started doing it, like putting the hair topic on, that definitely give me a lot more confidence in the beginning. But a lot of females around me already knew I was going bald, so it's kind of like people caught on to it,
right?
And then it was just like, what are you really doing this for? Like, and then
so he's just speaking about his experience. You know, people were seeing him going bald, this, and that. Listen, I make these videos once again to just bring to light the fact that life happens for all of us, and that reality is very different than what content creators and what people spin online, right? I'm not gonna say that. I want to play you one more video really quickly before I talk about something else really quickly. Even Will Smith is an impervious. Now, Will Smith actually recently started this campaign to lose weight. This is very interesting. He calls it, what is it? Best shape of my life. We're gonna play a clip from this. In this clip, he's weighing himself and he's trying to figure out where exactly he stands. And what he says is very interesting. He says something. And so I want to go ahead and play that. Hopefully Will Smith doesn't have this video. I'm sure Will Smith has this video copyrighted. Jeez. This is dangerous.
Oh, here, and this asshole looking at me like, he looking at me like, shit, during my day, this bullshit wouldn't be happening. Like, during my day, we dropped that shit in 6 weeks. That's what he's saying. He's like, I feel like I'm disrespecting his legacy. Punching in some stupid numbers into his little stupid.
Now, Will Smith he's joking about looking at his younger self by 20 years and joking about being able to drop the weight for a movie in 6 weeks. I mean, he's joking somewhat seriously about this, right? He's joking somewhat seriously, but in reality, this really does bother Will Smith. This really does bother a lot of guys to be able to look at a picture of yourself, a better looking picture of yourself, a more strapping, you know, skin a little bit and facial cranity, you know, cranium shaped a little bit tighter version of yourself. In reality, we all do, men do look at younger pictures of themselves and realize that they're not their former selves. This is the truth. All right. You don't necessarily age in the way or gracefully, or you don't necessarily get better necessarily in this sense, as far as aging as a man goes. No, as far as his physical dominance, Will Smith, males are in the same boat as women are. All right. It's very obvious and apparent. Now, we can argue this whole job thing. You can argue whatever you want to. But at this point, it's very obvious. It's very clear. And Will even admits to that. Let's continue this video. And I want to hear one other thing he says here.
His legacy. Punching in some stupid numbers into his little stupid phone. With this whole stupid show we're trying to do.
Now, I know he's going to say he's joking in a second, but this is not a face of joking. This is not the face of a man who's joking. Now, Will Smith is a professional actor, so, right, he could be completely throwing this off of the camera, right? But I, in my opinion, sense sincerity. Take that for what you will. It's Will Smith. How can you sense sincerity in a professional actor like Will Smith? But once again, I'm making these videos to show you and to bring to understanding as a woman, as people, as anybody that's watching this right now, I want you to see and understand truly that we're on the same boat. And while there's a movement of men online to try and get you as a woman to understand that your value somehow goes lower as you get older and theirs goes up, I want you to understand that even though there's literally millions of people telling you online that that your time is running out, that their time is running, that things are running short for you, that you're approaching a zone of danger, whatever it might be. I want you to understand that the very same thing is happening for them, unless they're not human beings. Anything that ages is going to need maintenance and repair. This goes for anything. If it's man-made, it's going to need maintenance and repair. Vehicles, cameras, electronics, everything that we make is going to need maintenance and repairs. Our bodies are no different. Our bodies don't just get better mechanically as we age. No, they're going to need maintenance and repair. If you've been doing preventative maintenance, i.e. eating healthy, if you've been doing this and taking care of yourself, then it might be a bit different. For the most part, we're all the same, right? Let's say a couple more things. So I spoke about, something, and once again, I'm gonna go back to this entire thing about the wall, right? The wall. This thing that's stopping, or that's going to hinder you from being the person that you want to be in a relationship that you want to be with in life. It's going to stop you from being where you want to be in life, for the most part, the wall. I want to speak about workplace, happenings. As an older man, as you start to get older, and you start to not have a career, if you start to kind of bounce from job to job, what you're going to find as an older guy is that it's harder to get into spaces. You're going to find that bosses, employers, even if they are older than you, are going to look at you and say, well, you know what? We're not necessarily sure if you fit our culture. We're not necessarily sure if you fit our mold, or if you fit our mind or our persona. As a guy, we're not necessarily sure if you have the skills necessary to adapt to our environment, whatever it might be. They're going to want to go for a younger college guy. They're going to want to go for a younger professional. They're going to want to go for somebody that's going to be willing to put in a couple more hours. They're going to want to go for somebody that has a little bit less time commitments and time constraints, familiar constraints. They're going to want to go for somebody that is a little bit more willing to take a lower salary in comparison to the 55-year-old that's looking for the same job with the same college degree, right? And this is very true on YouTube. You can just type in, workplace history or working when you get older, whatever it might be. Employers feel this very way. I've been researching this. I'm talking about this because this relates to dating as well. A lot of guys will say, "Oh, we don't like older women because of this, because of that." When in reality, they're in the very same boat. Now, I bring up guys in workplace history because as far as traditional values, as far as traditional dating goes, they look at women and they value women for their whatever it might be. Oh, well, you're going to start to approach the wall, and once you get there, we're not going to value as much, because in traditional dating, a woman's value is in this. Right? Looks, her sexuality, her this or that, whatever it might be. We don't care about your education. We don't care about that, right? Well, in a traditional society in capitalistic America, man's value is also placed in the very thing that as he gets older will start to wane and diminish, which is his stability, which is his work type history, which is his career. If he doesn't already have these things stable going into his late 30s, going to his early 40s, it's going to be very difficult for him to magically find a career, for him to magically find his right path on life, and then all of a sudden succeed and go upward with immense mobility. It happens, but it doesn't happen that often. As you grow older as a man, as you start to get deeper and deeper in age in corporate America, your time is running out just as quickly, my friend. Your time is running out just as quickly, aside from health battles and things that we all have to face as we grow older, aside from life and complications as we all have to face as we grow older. You're also going to have to face the fact that you're not going to have the same energy. You're not going to have the same type of mindset. You're not going to have the same type of, in some types of sense, creativity that the younger generation has. You're not going to have the same type of drive. You're not going to have the same type of values, the same type of relatability to a lot of your coworkers if you are 20 or 30 years older than them. These types of things do severely matter in a workforce when you're talking about working on a team together, right? That's a nap. When you're talking about working with people, when you're talking about working for a company, when you're just talking about getting into a position, as far as competition goes, light favors the opponent in a lot of cases that are going to be the guys who are fresher out of college, right? This is no different. Everything in life is a competition. So if you're going to rag and destroy on women for having this type of look or appeal or something that's not working for them in the overall scheme of dating or marriage, well, then there's a lot that's going to fly and apply with that to you. And this actually applies with dating as well. Listen, Brad Pitt doesn't look like he does 30 years ago. All right. I want y'all to understand. I need guys to understand. I need us to start being very realistic when we start telling women that they're approaching the wall, and we start telling women that they're approaching the danger zone. I need you to start thinking and to start questioning yourself, and to start honestly really just taking a step back when you hear guys talk like this, because what it is it's nonsense, right? It's utter nonsense, but there's a very large market for nonsense right now. Now, moving over, we're going to go ahead and transition here. All right. We're going to go ahead and transition here. Now, there's content creators on both sides, obviously, and I've definitely seen and experienced this on both sides, that are spewing at this point pretty much utter nonsense, right? And we're going to start to cover these definitely as we continue to go forward. But it's ladies and it's men for sure. All right. All of us get older. All of us have things we need to work on. And all of us do need to actively compete and make sure that we're trying to do the very best that we can do if we're trying to compete in whatever type of market it is, whether it be divesting, whether it be that you want to just, I don't know, whatever you just consider yourself, wherever you consider yourself in your life and dating in America, you will have to compete. And you're going to have to be the best version of yourself if you want to have the best outcome most of the time. Exceptions are to the rule, but most of the time, that's a fact. And so I want to be very careful and very cautious to also not just give the complete extension of sincerity or credence to content creators who are ladies who would preach a message that says, oh, well, you know what, women, you do get better and then the men don't get better. No, it's not necessarily true. I think there are advantages to both sides for sure, but there are plenty of disadvantages to both sides as well. There are plenty of disadvantages to both sides. An advantage to women getting older, they live longer than guys. They do live longer than guys, right? Some of the same disadvantages that women have as far as getting older that men share as well. Once again, these are the same disadvantages, guys. There are less dating options for both of us as we get older. This is a fact. Okay. We have less time as we get older. We have less energy as we get older. Now, things do vary to some extent, but I'll be honest, if we're in a dater's market, if we're talking about who owns the dater's market, if we're talking about who runs the dater's market right now, it's women. It's not men. So the older woman and the older man in comparison who are on the same exact playing field, the same age, the same job status, the same whatever, the same this, the women are still going to have the advantage at the end of the day. 99 times, 95 times out of 100, they're always going to have the advantage because they're women, right? They're always going to have the advantage. I said that to say this. I'm making this video specifically for a lot of the young guys who do email me, for a lot of the guys who do just kind of watch and say nothing, for a lot of the people who watch on replay, and they don't want to join on live because they don't want to see or have the ability for me to see that they're in here, but they don't want to also be addressed and have their name pop up, whatever it might be. They don't want to watch live, but they watch on the replay. And I need you to understand, if there's one thing that you take away from the message of today's sermon, if you will, it's this. It's that I have to be careful. I can't really say that all the way. Yeah, I have to be careful. As a guy, as a person, as a human being, all of our times will come, right? All of our times will come. The bigger thing, the bigger goal, the bigger desire, my bigger mindset on things is to get you to understand that the people that you indulge so deeply, the mindset that you're in right now, whatever type of hatred, whatever types of whoever you follow right now, whatever problem that you have with me, whatever type of person that you are, I want you to understand that at the end of the day, and when it's all said and done, life is going to happen to you. And I don't know what's going to necessarily happen to you. Nobody knows what's going to happen to you. I know a few things, and I know a few things only. I know that at the time that I have right now, I'm going to do as much with the time that I have as humanly possible. I know that I'm not guaranteed the time that I have right now. I know that every day, every second, every hour, every millisecond that I have, I'm grateful for, I'm thankful for, and I'll make sure that I do everything humanly possible to make myself a better person. Because reality of the situation says, reality of 2021, reality of the world that we live in has said to us time and time and time again that there is no guarantees. There is no 1000%. This is the way it is. We don't know what tomorrow brings. And I've said this, and I keep saying this on the channel. I'll repeat this all the time. And this is why I always say, make sure that if you see a restaurant that you want to go visit, to just go walk, go try it out. If you just want to have a sick day at work, call in, just have a sick day working. I don't know, go to the beach. If you want to just take a flight, I don't know, a one-way or round trip ticket flight in a month and go to Singapore or something like that, go do it. Because at the end of the day, these worlds that we create, that we get so caught up in, this idea of who we are in the cosmos, this idea of who our identity is, this idea of what we represent, what we stand for, what our goal, what our life mission is, and what we're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to achieve, most of us don't quite really understand. A lot of us are tied into the matrix right now, and we think we've unplugged because the content creator that we listen to is like this woman in the red dress. You think that because you follow a guy who has some sub results of what you're looking for in life, you think that because you've heard a man who's able to attach your emotional heartstrings, your emotional problems and trauma with the words that he says, and you think that because you can attach your problems to the words that he says is a solution, you think that because it feels what he's saying feels right, that's going to bring you out of this horrible place that you're in. you think because you hear and you see this red dressed woman that this is the one that's going to save you. And in reality, you know, a lot of what he's saying isn't true. You know, a lot of what he's saying really doesn't offer or solve anything for you, but it sounds good at the time, even though it's fake. You know, it's a simulation. You know, it's not the case. You know that you don't want to be alone forever. You know that you truly don't want to go your own way, right? You know that you still like women, most of you, right? But you'll do anything that you can to fight against it, because the urge, the need to possibly think that, you know what, maybe that woman in the red dress is right. It's so deep and it's so real. It appeals to your carnal desires, your carnal nature so much that you're willing to take a chance on what you know is fake. And then when Morpheus says, hey, turn back around, the agent has the gun to your head, right? And you're like, whoa, wait, right? The gun was always to your head. Right, the gun was always to your head. It's just that you wanted something to be that wasn't to be so badly that you were willing to imagine that it was. You're willing to take the chance on what you know wasn't going to work out. And that's the problem with, I think, a lot of people who are really caught in with a lot of these content creators of today. A lot of these content creators are very good with the things that they say. They're very good at making you feel like things aren't the way that they really are. And this is the problem that a lot of people have with religion as well. A lot of religious texts, a lot of religious people are very good with speaking. They're great orators. And because they're great orators and they understand psychology, they're able to get people to identify. They're able to get people to really believe and radicalize with the train of thought, with the style of thought, with just a mindset of what they preach. And through training them and through getting them to understand this mindset of what they preach, even if it is destructive in some senses, even if it does have a broken clock is right 2 times a day methodology of thinking and train of thought, even if it does have some rightness to it, unfortunately, because of the nature of the message, it's only going to lend itself to more problems than it will solutions in the future. And this is what a lot of content creators blanket their messages. They blanket their message as a solution to your problem, when in reality, it's just another problem to your problem, right? What do I mean by that? Saying that men get better as they get older. And that's not necessarily, that's not a solution to your problem, right? Getting older is not necessarily a problem either, but it's going to bring about different problems. It doesn't solve a problem inherently, right? You going your own way and leaving women alone doesn't solve a problem inherently, right? You needing to hold women accountable doesn't solve a problem inherently, right? What solves problems is action, essentially. What solves problem is you living a lifestyle that doesn't invite any of that that negativity in. Once you start living that style of life, then whatever happens to you in life is you're going to be able to handle accordingly. But so long as you place your value on having an image about yourself that isn't necessarily true, you're going to be living a delusional lifestyle. And that's what's wrong with a lot of these guys. They live a delusional lifestyle. They say, oh, what's the problem? I don't understand why. I'm having this problem in life. I'm having this problem in life. I'm having this problem in life. I can't get girls. The white man's after me. This, and that. And we have so few brothers. We have so few guys nowadays that just accept that society is the way it is nowadays, right? Particularly the younger generation, the newer kids have a really hard time getting a footing and just kind of, and I was one of those kids as well. It was very tough. It was very tough to just kind of accept the way that things were. But the quicker I accepted the way things were and not the way that I wanted them to be, the quicker that I stopped listening to my friends tell me, oh, yeah, you can really do music. It sounds good. The quicker that I stopped listening to people give me encouragement to do things that I really had no business doing in life, the faster I was able to find some modicum of success. The faster I was able to actually achieve some modicum of success, the faster I was able to connect and actually have some sort of positive experience or some sort of positive benefit to this earth to some degree of success, right? But I had to stop listening to those people that I thought knew had my best intentions. We can listen to our friends all day. Your friends are your friends. They're not going to have the best advice for you unless they're a true friend. And if they're a true friend, then you have a true friend. A lot of us don't have true friends. Sometimes the advice that you need isn't going to be the advice that you want to hear. This is the problem that I think a lot of guys have with me right now. This is the problem that a lot of women might have with me in the future. We talked about the guys a lot. We will talk about the women going forward. Once again, we don't have too much of a choice but to cover this. But the reality of the situation, once again, is that you listening to somebody telling you what you want to hear doesn't solve anything for you. You'll still be alone. You still won't be making that much money. Or you're still going to be the exact same person that you are right now. You still haven't hit in the gym. You still haven't done anything physically to actually manifest yourself to be a better person, to give yourself a chance to date women, but rather you're just chalking it up to the fact that females are hypergamous, that women are hypergamous, that one day women are going to hit the wall. And once they hit the wall, once you're age 45, you'll still be miraculously and perfect, the same health that you were when you were 18. And that's just not the way it is in life. That's not real life. I hate to break it to you. That's not real life for any of us. A lot of women understand and have kind of evolved around that fact. And I think this is why women last and live longer than men. We joke about this, but women do live longer than men. And I think another aspect we have to it as well is when we look at the education rates as far as Black women go, they live longer than Black men, as well as longer than white men, by the way, Black women do. And when we look at the education rate, it's not surprising that this trend is kind of the way it is, because Black women are also the most educated are enrolled in college, if you will, educated people in America. However you want to twist that statistic. I get emails all the time. Truth, they're not the most, whatever you want to say. I don't care at this point. Black women are graduating to an extremely high degree of success, or much higher degree of success than Black males are. And through this education, once again, is the solution to the problem. So we're talking about the wall. We're talking about why Black men, unfortunately, have so many different health defects and things of that nature that we inherit genetically. We're talking about the fact that we just don't have education, that we didn't have education on health. We're talking about the fact that Black women do out educate, and guess what? Nutrition, health, things of that nature. When you start talking about STEM fields, science, researches, that is what you put inside your body. When you start talking about doctors and biologists, those are what you consume. When you start talking about all these different types of elements of the sciences that we have a lot of people graduating from, and guys are as well, this does include what you put into your body, education. And this is why it's so paramount. This is why when we hear guys ridicule women, this is why when we hear guys say, oh, it's not important that you have an education, this is why it's so detrimental, particularly for guys, particularly for Black males who are the most at risk for certain diseases, who are the most at risk, who do die the soonest out of every other group of people in America. This is why when we start talking about the importance of having educated people, this comes into play. But you have to be educated to understand bodily functions. You have to be educated to understand why simple carbs and why complex carbs is a needed conversation. You have to be educated to understand what hypoglycemia is. You have to be educated to understand what the difference between type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and how type 2 diabetes could be reversed or cured. And even in some cases, type 1 may be able to, but it's very difficult and almost impossible in a lot of cases. You have to understand, and that's not medical information, that's just what I've researched. You have to understand and see how it all applies to the big picture of the puzzle, right? But it makes sense at the end of the day, right? It makes sense at the end of the day. Everything, and I'll open up the panel here in a second. Forgive me, y'all. I'll open the panel here in a second, but there's just a little bit more I have to say. Everything works in tandem when it comes down to a community. Everything works in tandem. And this is why it's such an issue. And whoever just texted me, I'll check it out. This is why it's such an issue and this is why I decided to address this video in the way that I have, right? Because this affects all males definitely, but in the Black community could also have a much stronger effect. Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay, never mind. That was nothing, right? Let me read some comments really quick. I haven't read the comments, and I'll open up the panel in 1 second. I just got to say a few more things. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah. Okay, y'all pretty much talking to each other, so I'll continue. We lose 1% to testosterone per year after age 30. You need to start doing prostate exams once you reach age 40 as a Black male, particularly even earlier, or as a male in general. I mean, your body starts to change. I mean, there's a million things that start to happen as you age. Let me open the panel right now before I forget, before I start talking too long again. How was it? Be 46 minutes? No, such bad. All right. Let me just permalink it and I'll continue. Definitely make sure you like the video, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everybody liking the video. Let's see. Self-Love Heals with the member chat. 9 months she's been a member chat. I appreciate that. 9-month anniversary for your membership, Self-Love Heals. She says she's watching. I appreciate that, Self-Love Heals. Always watching. All right. I pinned that. Now, having said that, I'm not saying, just completely give up in life, nothing matters, anything like that. This is not a nihilistic message, right? This is just a reality check, right? This is just something that you can take into your conversations. This is something that if you converse other manospheric type foes on different other manospheric type channels and platforms online with, you can take this type of train of thought into the conversation with. This affects everybody, right? This affects everybody unequally. Definitely, there's a lot of different things that happen differently between us as we age. And And this is a fact, man. This is a fact. Masscat says, "Don't heal them; they don't want to be healed." Sis Soldier, y'all crazy. I think there's actually one more video I had to play. 1 second. If you're listening on audio, just know right now I'm looking for one more video link. You're not missing anything, but I want to thank everybody that's listening specifically on audio. Also, as far as the business emails are concerned, y'all, I'm going to get back to y'all really soon. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I've been doing a lot this past week. A lot, a lot going on behind the scenes, but all good stuff. So I appreciate y'all's patience. I know this is somewhat of a grim conversation. It's just somewhat of a darker conversation. And I hate to even have the conversation a lot of the times in the terms that we're having this in when they are darker conversations and the context that we're having them in. But this is the honest truth, and I think it's important. I know a lot of the times, a lot of ladies will, ask, and a lot of people ask why I say certain things, why I am grim in certain ways. I feel like I must. I feel like I have to be, to some extent. So I apologize. I know this is a bit more grim, but this is going to lead us into the next live stream, which I think is going to be another really good live stream. And we're going to really start to put on Front Street the matrix or the world of content creation, around us, and just how detrimental it is. I've been looking at a lot of different articles, and there's a lot of articles and there's a lot of stories that aren't brought to light. I don't know. People just don't know about them. I know people haven't heard about them, but there's a lot of different instances where content creators have led people and radicals to a lot of different crazy things. And, with everything that's happened as far as just the beef and the drama sectors go in YouTube, and with everything that'll continue to happen as far as, content creation goes, and people doxing each other and whatever it might be, these types of occurrences that we'll start to discuss in the world of content creation, this world that content creators create for their viewers and for themselves, these mad fantasies, if you will. We're going to start to take a deeper look into a lot of instances and occurrences that have happened in real life from online situations. There's been quite a few, and a lot of shocking ones I haven't heard anybody talk about, but we're going to talk about them on the next one. It's going to be a fascinating live stream, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. mgtow Shorts 2.0. mgtow Shorts 2.0. Welcome to the panel, mgtow Shorts 2.0. I assume that you're a mgtow.
How do you figure that out?
I took a guess, man. Well,
all right.
Let's go ahead and dive into it.
First of all,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you, what's up with your background with that pink neon thunder? Where have you been struck by the LGBTQ thunder or what?
No, man, I haven't been struck by the LGBTQ thunder. Not at all.
Do you have a girlfriend, or are you married?
No, I don't have a girlfriend or I'm married.
So is that why you're pandering? Is that why you're pandering to women out here to get some YouTube pussy out here?
No, man.
And why are
mgtow Shorts? We're gonna have to give you a language warning. We're gonna have to give you a language warning there. I'll unmute you here, and we'll try and get back to it. Okay. Now there we go. We'll give you one more question. Then we got to answer some questions, mgtow Shorts. Okay. One more question. Go ahead.
All right. Earlier, you said that men are delusional. So now you're getting lazy and you're using our own talking points to come at us. What's up with that, man? Can you be a little more creative?
What do you mean?
Yeah, you said that men are delusional when everybody knows that the only delusional people here are these delusional modern women.
The only delusional people are delusional modern women.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm not a clinical psychologist, so I'm not going to try and assess anybody's delusion, but we're just going to ask you a couple questions. Now, were there any other questions that you had to ask for me? I'm not married. I don't have any girlfriends. I'm not gay, but were there any other questions? And I want to ask you about 3 questions as well. So any other questions?
That's it.
Okay. All right. So are you married?
Nope.
No? Okay. Do you have a girlfriend?
Nope. That's 2 questions already.
That's 2 questions. All right. So we're in the same boat. So we might be more similar, you and I, than you think. All right. We might be. We'll see. This third question is going to give us an answer exactly. Well, not necessarily. I'm not going to ask you anything too intrusive. But what exactly do you have a problem with what I'm saying as far as the title of this live stream goes? Do you feel like you're getting better as you age? Or do you have a problem with that inherently, or do you just have more of a problem with what I am or who I am?
No, I don't got a problem with you, dude. I'm just trying to say that I don't know. It's like you're giving women some false hope, or I don't know. It seems like you're trying to attack men for no reason, man.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm giving women false hope. Well, I think a lot of times throughout the stream, I've kind of addressed and assessed that, we both get older and there are things that happen on both sides, right? You've heard me say that today or tonight, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, I've assessed and I've addressed it. There's things that happen to women. There are things that happen to guys, but it's not that guys get better with time and women don't. That's not the case. That's just not the case, man. Do you accept that to be true? Can you accept that? Or is that just completely illogical to you?
It's true, but men could work at it and become a better version of themselves with time. And women, I don't know, they rely too much on looks, and that goes away by 35, 30.
That goes away by 35 or 30. Their looks, pretty much. The wall, essentially, right?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yep.
So every woman past 35 is unattractive for the most part. Now, you and I both know that's not true, right? But we'll go ahead and roll with your sentiment, essentially, right? We'll just say that that's true. We'll
They're
say
just not as attractive.
All right.
As they were when they were younger.
Now let me ask you a question. Let me show you a picture, because maybe I can show you better than I can tell you. All right. So I'm going to show you two pictures, right? They're going to be of the same gentleman. All right. I want you to tell me.
I'm not gay, so I can't.
Well, you okay? Well, let's just say non-objectively. I know y'all have severe hyper anti gay tendencies. Y'all hate gay people, but let's just entertain the fact, okay? Let's just for a second entertain it, okay? If you could place yourself, and I know this is virtually impossible for you, but if you could objectively just place yourself and give me an honest critique, I would thoroughly appreciate it. Do you think you have the ability to do that?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you working with me, mgtow. I appreciate you working with me. I don't ask for much. This is the same man here. Do you know who this guy is?
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Is that DiCaprio?
No. Close. Close. One more guess.
I don't know. He's one of these Hollywood idiots that I don't really like.
All right, chat. Help him out, chat. First person to get it right. I don't know. Chavez with a $5 super chat. Hold on, mgtow. We'll give you a third guess in a second. He says, Chavez says it's hard for these men to go their own way when they have no directions in life. That's huge. That's huge right there. Organic Black says, turn your camera on. mgtow, we're going to ask you to turn your camera on in a second. All right. Let's see. You got some help. It's Brad Pitt, mgtow. It's Brad Pitt. Okay. Now, mgtow.
Same shit.
I want to ask you a question. Since you can't say which one is better looking, because you're just which one do you think is younger? Which picture, the left or the right hand side? Just entertain me.
The left.
Really? Why is that?
Well, he looks younger. What do you mean? It's common sense.
Okay. If you were to hire one for an action movie or for modeling, if you will, which side of the picture would you choose? If you were modeling Polo or Ralph Lauren, a swimsuit for men, or whatever, if you were a photographer, if you were looking at the ad, which side would you think would more likely be in that photo?
Depends. If I was going for the most interesting man in the world, it'll probably be the one on the right. And the one on the left will probably be, I don't know, he looks kind of fruity with that pink.
Which man, I know, right? Now we're insulting Brad Pitt, who was objectively voted as one of the most good-looking men on the face of the planet. All right, mgtow, let's be honest here, all right? Which man would probably be on the app or on the poster, all right? We know it's going to be left-hand Brad Pitt. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to admit it. All right, there we go. So it's left-hand Brad Pitt, all right? Now, you and I and everybody in the chat both know, audio listeners, I pulled up a picture of Brad Pitt when he was younger versus when he was older. We all know that Brad Pitt looked better when he was younger. everybody looks better when they're younger, particularly at that age that we're looking at right now. This is not just the case for women. But I'm glad that Mr. mgtow decided to hop on here, because once again, you would think that the things that I'm saying right now I make up. You would think that people truly don't believe this, but this is really what people believe. Guys really do believe that they get better with age and that women don't, and that you are going to hit the wall past 35. Now, mgtow, I'm going to let you go forward, but we want to see you on camera, mgtow. So in order for you to keep going forward, you're going to have to turn your camera on. Do you have the ability to do that?
You want to check me out or what?
No. I don't want to check you out.
I think you are gay, man. I think you are. You've been stricken by that pink thunder.
I know. So are you willing to do it or not? It's simple. But if you'd like to keep going forward,
I'm an anonymous person out here because you know how it is. Thank you.
All right, mgtow. We'll have a good one. All right, mgtow Shorts. I don't know really what to take seriously as far as somebody who can't identify Brad Pitt in a picture. But take that for what you will. I'm glad he decided to come up. So thank you, mgtow Shorts. Brush up on your pop culture. Just a little bit, man. You're gonna need that. Brad Pitt. The voice was a little familiar. I'm not sure exactly who it is, but voice was a little familiar. That's interesting, right? So guys really do believe this. Y'all think I'm lying? I'm being dead serious. This is not. This is not a farce. Guys truly do believe this. Right. Now, I think it's interesting because one thing that Kevin always says is he'll say this sign language or something like that, like shame, insult, guilt, need to be right. Like women are always trying to use sign language to shame men. And of course, the first thing that this guy comes on to do is try to shame me, right, for having pink neon signs and saying that I'm gay, right, or whatever it might be. It's interesting because, and this is why we will start covering and talking about this, the points that he brought up, right? Well, why are you always trying to attack the guys, right? Whilst in the same breath being the type of guy that is essentially what he tries to claim that he hates, which are, I guess you could say the maniacs, the radical followers of these cult-like YouTube leaders, right? But he ends up showing the same signs that Kevin and a lot of these other content creators bash women for, right? The shaming, so calling me gay for whatever it might be, and insults and all these other different types of things. But this is the incredible part, and this is why it's so amazing, and this is what's so polarizing and just so fascinating about guys in modern society. They exhibit the same faults that they berate and that they destroy women for having, right? Women don't sleep around, but their biggest goal is to sleep around, right? Women don't have single children, but 80% of guys pretty much in all races have a kid by age whatever, right? By age 40. You know what I mean? Everything that they speak and that they hate on, they're essentially guilty of themselves for the most part. So I've come to see. And it's just fascinating to me. And it's fascinating to see it in real time because it's just like, you know what I mean? And then you'll sit back and you'll wonder, and it's obviously no wonder rather, but it makes sense as to why a lot of these guys are having such troubles, as to why a lot of these guys, hate us so much, as to why a lot of these guys can accept anything. And you even notice I asked him, I said, so do you agree or disagree with the fact that I say that guys don't get better as they get older? Do you agree that both sides both have issues unequally and in some equally in a lot of cases? And of course, naturally, yes, he agreed. But here comes the but, right? Yes, but I feel like you always attack guys, right? As he decided to attack me. Now, this applies to women content creators as well. 1,000%, right? 1,000,000%. The same issues that I see with a lot of women content creators, a lot of Black women content creators, is that essentially what they end up doing is turning themselves into the same people that they hate. And whilst I think it's great to bring awareness to certain situations, whatever it might be, I think it can become very bloody in battle, if you will, to start just going 1,000% all out blood sport, if you will. Because when it's all out blood sport, you don't see necessarily who you're stabbing. You're just kind of swinging your sword wildly. You might hurt somebody on your team. It might be friendly fire. It might not. It might be somebody who is willing to kind of fight against you and turn against their enemy. But the content creators are focused on monetizing blood sport right now. And this is a big problem. This is a big problem. And this will continue to be a very big problem, and particularly for the youths and for the next generation. This guy that called up was no older than 23 or 24 years old. And this will be the trend for our kids and for the kids' kids as these types of messages continue to be broadcast digitally around the world. And as YouTube continues to grow as the prime media source, the prime media site, and the #2 search engine in the world, these types of messages right here, right? So it's very interesting, and we need to start being completely honest, and we need to start being completely transparent about the realities of this gender war, the realities of this matrix that we're living in, because there is definitely a gender war that's going on. But we need to be honest about who's fueling the gender war, who truly wants to help solve the gender war, who truly wants to help get something done in the gender war, versus who wants to keep fueling the gender war, almost like the healthcare system, right? Almost like the various assortment of diseases that there are various, just conspiracy theories on that we might not want to treat, or that we've been treating and that we really have a cure for. We don't want to release the cure because it would, make the pharmaceutical companies as much money for, right? We're kind of in this element right now with this YouTube thing. Where it's like we're really not addressing the real issue here. We're really not trying to get the real solutions out on Front Street. We just want to talk about the issues for a long ass time. We want to continue to create issues for a long ass time. We want to continue to create drama for a long ass time, because we know that in our community, we know that in our particular sector, we know that in our particular people, we know that in our particular realm and environment, the drama is something that we can connect with. The drama in Black YouTube, the drama in dating YouTube, the drama in mgtow, red pill, manosphere, the drama in divestment, the drama in all these different types of groups. Even though the broken clock is right 2 times a day, I'm starting to see a lot of the times is doing nothing but just focusing on the problems versus the solution. It's like watching an episode of Maury 10 fucking times in a row, and 10 days in a fucking row, 10 years in a row, and doing this for the next 60 years, for the next 7 decades. It's like you've seen the same problem, you've seen the same episode. So why am I trying to still get entertainment? Why am I still trying to actually figure out a way to re-envision, to rewatch, to re-intake, to revitalize? Why am I still trying to find a way to repackage this information that I already know? Why am I not trying to figure out who the child of the father is? Why am I not trying to figure out the solution or the Maury after? Why am I not trying to figure out what happens after this? Why am I just focused on the drama itself? Why is it that most of what happens in our culture, in our community, why is it that a large majority of us in Black YouTube, in Black America, align so deeply with drama? Why is that? This is with every facet of Black pop culture. This is with every facet, and we can argue about the stereotypical communities that are hoods that are filled with drama. We can argue about the stereotypical Black loud Black woman. We can argue about any type of stereotype you want to say. There are stereotypes on both sides. There are things that are true on both sides. But I'm saying that one thing that is through all the way, one thing that's consistent, one thing that is just a monoline through and throughout, is that we both enjoy drama, both men and women. I go to manosphere channels, they're screaming and cursing at women. I go to the divestment channels, they're screaming and cursing at men. And it's like there is no opportunity to starting thinking about having a solution, because everybody's too focused right now on exposing and outing and this and that. There's no desire to grow into a better person. There's no desire to be a better person. That's not what the goal of people is nowadays. That's not the goal of anybody. And it's interesting because I was talking and I was watching a video from a content creator that said that he wasn't given a major label distribution deal for his YouTube channel because he didn't focus enough on the trauma or the drama of getting in prison or going out of prison or coming into prison. He focused more on the solution, but the people that were trying to sign him said, we don't know if it's going to work because the people might not watch because it's too solution oriented. I said, that's huge. Now, this even happens in Hollywood, right? But this is a Black guy who has a YouTube channel. It's Big Hurt 916. He does fresh out of prison. Hey, Kier, my bad, Kier. I didn't see in the background. And so I'll bring you up 1 second here. And so he even had to deal with this in a professional environment because he knew the type of market that he had, the type of people that watched his channel. They knew that there was less of a propensity for his target market, young Black males, older Black males, even people of other races that just enjoy prison videos, that enjoy talking about the experiences of guys in the streets or whatever it might be. They knew that there was not as much of a pull on the solutions as there was a pull on hearing about stories about the jail guys who were getting raped, as there was about hearing stories about guys who were getting shanked or murdered. There was more pull, and there's always more pull to hear about the drama and to talk about the drama than there is to talk about the solution. And this is through without, as far as the Black community is concerned, and a lot of parts of America as well. Reality TV is big for all of us. Let me not kid myself, right? Let's be completely honest here. But this is a fact. This is a fact, and content creation is no different. Content creation is not based off of solutions. As a matter of fact, even the solutions that are presented by a lot of content creators, because of the anger, because of the message, because of the type of persons behind the solution that they're giving to you, the energy, the vibe, what you're taking, the wisdom that you're taking, it's changing you as a person. So even if it is good advice, even if what they're saying might be true, you're changing so much as a person that you're not able to use that advice in the way that you're supposed to be, because you're taking advice from the devil. It might be true. God might not want you to eat of the apple that's good and evil, but you need to understand that just because the advice might ring true does not mean that the messenger is not a liar and is using the advice against you. What do I mean by this? If I had a son, thank you for the $50 super chat, Self Love Heals. I appreciate that. Self Love Heals with a $50 super chat. So some people would rather stay in anger instead of moving on to the next level. It's time to move past the anger state and into acceptance. Acceptance and creating a serene place within that acceptance. 1,000%. 1,000%. 1,000%. Linlin says, I'm tired of the Black community, but I support THT. I appreciate that, Linlin. Thank you so much once again, Self Love Heals, for the $50 super chat, and continue to support Self Love Heals. Once again, if I had a son, right? And let me kind of explain this concept a bit more to you. How can I say this? I have to be kind of careful with the way I say this. Okay, I'll let you go in 1 second. Just give me 1 second, Kara. I'm sorry. Good advice from a bad person can still be bad advice. Okay, good advice from a bad person can still be bad advice. All right. If I had a son and he wants to make money, say he wants to buy a PS5 or something like that, right? And I'm trying to instill in him that he needs to learn about entrepreneurship. He needs to learn to understand the value of a dollar, about working, or whatever it might be. Say he's not old enough to get a job. Well, I'm going to teach him that, you can start making a little bit of money for yourself. So I'm going to teach him to go start a business. So my advice as a father is to start a business, right? That's my good advice. Well, there's two different types of businesses you can start. You can start a legal business, or you can start an illegal business. Now, the business, the idea, the advice, the mindset of starting a business from advice to a younger man is a great thing. However, starting an illegal business is not a good thing, right? Two types of businesses. I'm going to advise a certain way to do it. Even though the concept is fundamentally the same, you're taking a good and exchanging it. If I tell him to sell CDs, if I tell him to, fix electronics, if I tell him to make a business on something that is legal, that he doesn't have to face street justice or criminal justice for, that's going to be a lot better than a street guy telling him to open a business where it's reselling street pharmaceuticals, or where it's redistributing something that's maybe just not as conducive to a normal adult life in socio-capitalistic America, right? Now, the advice is the same by both of us. The street guy and I both said, go open up a business. But the way to open up a business is what's going to obviously be a very, very, very big influence on how that kid goes forward growing, or on what that child's business or what type of business that child decides to open entails, right? So the person is going to have a very big narrative swing or narrative impression or narrative change, or I guess you can say translation, if you will, or interpretation that's given based off of that concept. All right. And I think the goal, or maybe that game that we played when we were younger, where you would talk in somebody's ear and you'd give them a secret, like, I don't know, hey, Jenna likes to go to, soccer games on Friday. By the time you tell 20 people Jenna likes to go to the soccer game on Friday, it's changed a little bit, right? I think in a lot of cases, and when content creators, things kind of change a little bit as well, where there was some kind of truth that might have been in the advice, but because things have been kind of warped, because things have been going through so many different mouths, because ideas have been exchanged through so many different content creators, and they've been so many different conversations had behind the scenes or whatever it might be, the idea has been twisted a little, where Jenna might still be in the conversation, she still might be in the sentence, but it's not where it started out, right? That sentence is fundamentally changed from the beginning to the end, where the concept might be the same, but it's not the same sentence. And so you don't get the same reward if you would have gotten the same sentence from the beginning in the end, if you would have gotten it correctly, right? And that's kind of where we are as content creators. I feel like advice can be taken so differently based off of who's giving the advice because of the emotions, the spirit, the character of the person behind it. And that's the biggest thing that I think is affecting a lot of people who are watching these content creators. They'll say truth, but this number says that Kevin's right. Truth, but this number says Tanya truth, but, and then they'll name content creator after content, and they'll name myself as well. I'm not oblivious to that. I'll throw myself in the mix. I'm sure I've done all kinds of stuff that was like, well, you know, nigga, what? So whatever it might be, right? But I'm saying listen objectively, because once you start to just take in one content creator as, okay, this is the end all be all, then you're essentially formulating and radicalizing yourself to that person's character. And if that person does not have good character, but you like what they say, you like to hear what they say. If that person, listen, I love listening to trap. I like trap music. I do. I definitely do. But in my 20s, when I was drunk, high, and I wasn't really thinking all the way through about some things, and I decided to crank up a trap song, and I was maybe a little bit more volatile and a little bit more of a different state, that's probably not the best idea for me, right? Hey, it might have taken care of my solutions. People threatening my life, go kill them. I'm not saying to do that. That's illegal. Susan at YouTube, I'm never saying to do that. Highly illegal. But I'm saying that when you start to take advice from people, yeah, it might have solved my solution, but is that really the solution that I really need? Yeah, cool. My life was threatened. I killed people. Great. Now, what's the recourse from my solution? What's the recourse from me deciding to listen to that solution from that person, right? That was a solution, and it's great. That solved my problem. Now my life's not threatened, but I might have to face jail for the rest of my life. That was a solution, but you need to understand that the solution might not be the solution that you're looking for. You can decide to go your own way. Go ahead. That might not be what you're looking for. You can decide to divest. Go ahead. Guess what? That might not be the solution that you're looking for. I'll be completely honest with you. It might not be, because once again, if you're not in a mindset that's able to still lend itself over to a radical thought process, or to a normal thought process, to a normalized thought process, if you're being radicalized and normalization for you is living in Blackistan, and you thinking that because you have ops you need to go kill them is the solution to your problem, whilst it might be a solution, it's not a radical, or it's not a normal solution. It's a very radical and illogical solution, right? And so my bigger thing is this, is that whilst it still might be a solution for you to kill your ops because you live in the south side of Chicago, or because you live in Fort Worth or Dallas, or because you live wherever it might be, whilst it might be a solution for you, that's not optimal. The bigger thing would be to listen to somebody that told you need to get out of your environment and you need to focus on putting yourself in a more safe area that's conducive to better health for you and your family. That would be the best advice. Now, both of these are solutions. You can choose to follow whoever you want to. By all means, you listen to whatever you want to listen to. By all means, but make no mistake about it. Accountability, it's going to be for everybody, men and women. And we have to start talking about this more, because as much as it pains me to say, as much as I hate to say this, as bad as it is to say this, when a lot of guys say, and they'll watch these channels and they'll listen to the women on the channel, when a lot of guys say things like, man, I understand what you're saying, Truth, but at the same time, I feel like you're no different from this. It's not because they're listening to me specifically. A guy might agree with what I'm saying, but it's because he's heard something that I might have been saying as a truth, but misconstrued in a different way. Right? Because he's heard something that I might have said, a concept that I've said through a different person. The energy behind it was different. The interpretation behind it was different. The discernment, the meaning behind it was different. It's still a, yeah, I agree, truth. But this is why I feel the way I feel right now. And this is what's happening so much in a lot of our conversations. And this is what's happening so much in a lot of the conversations with guys. And I've even had a conversation behind the scenes with the guy that says, yo, man, I enjoy the conversation. Even though I don't agree with you, I just like being able to have the conversations. But once again, this is not something that can happen as far as the conversations that we have on this channel, that we've had on this channel, that a lot of people have been upset at me for having. We can't have those conversations anywhere else on any type of platform that talks about dating and interracial relationships. We can't have any of those on any types of platform, because it's too focused on just blowing each other out of the water. It's too focused on just dropping nukes and grenades 24/7 and embarrassing and humiliating each other. There's no solution. There's no solution. So we can't begin to have these discussions. And so that's what's going to change on this channel. There is going to be discussions going forward. A lot of people aren't going to like that, but I mean, whatever. A lot of people don't like me right now. Fuck. What am I supposed to do? Well, we are going to start having conversations, and we are going to start bringing in some other sides to the story, because if we don't start doing that, then we can't catch some of the guys who are going to become radicalized. We can't catch some of the women who are going to become radicalized, right? This is happening to both sides at this point. We're starting to fight enemies, and we're starting to see people that are not necessarily on our side in both communities. There's a lot of women who don't necessarily, and who will never like me because I'm black. There are a lot of black women who never like me because I'm black. These are the realities of what we're starting to create, but it's just being based off of this idea. And once again, conversely, there's a lot of black men who will never like black women. This is a reality of what we face, but the answer isn't necessarily based in the solutions that the leaders of these creators will purport you to believe. I can tell you one thing: you live a life of hatred, you live a life of envy, you live a life of jealousy, I promise you it'll bring you nothing but destruction in life 99 times out of 100, because this is just the way that life goes. You don't build fruit out of ashes. You can't build a fruit tree out of destruction. You can't build a fruit tree out of lava ash. You can't grow roots and vines. You can't grow fruit. You can't harvest vegetables. You can't harvest anything in a tormented, cold, frigid environment. It does not happen that way. It just doesn't happen that way. It'll never happen that way. No matter how hard you try, no matter how many people, no matter how many counselors, no matter how many of your friends, no matter how many of your content creators tell you, and they try and break it down to you, oh, you don't worry, it's not us, it's them. Oh, you have this, you have that. That's not necessarily the case, and you know it's not the case. Keep lying to yourself if you want to. That's not the case. I live the truth and I live my truth. And there's nothing anybody that can say is going to change anything that's different about that. And the people that recognize that. The people that don't want to recognize it, you don't have to recognize it. That's not going to change my truth inherently. However, I am going to understand, and I am going to realize that there are a lot of people who, and thank you, Organic Black, for the $20 super sticker. Organic Black for the $20 super sticker. Tracy said, I feel like I missed something. Yeah, you kind of missed. It's all right. I'm kind of like on a tangent right now. Before I go on, I'm going to let Kier go really quickly. Kier, I know I'm bringing you up just kind of out of nowhere. And Tracy, I'll address what I'm saying and why I'm saying it after we let Kier go ahead and go up here. All right? Because if you're just not joining, you might not understand anything I'm saying right now. Kier, welcome to the panel. Kier, what did you think about everything as far as the wall, if you will? Your thoughts on anything in general. The floor is yours. Go ahead, Kier.
I got lost with you talking.
Oh, you said I got lost with me talking?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Well, just go ahead and take your time and listen right now. So you missed something. I'm trying to just kind of break down, Tracy, and I'll give you a recap if I can really quickly, of the danger of following just one fundamental train of thought, or maybe just shutting yourself off to one specific train of thought, right? And I'm trying to get everybody to understand that no matter who you are, no matter what you believe in, no matter what you stand for, that we're all in this life, and that life is going to have its way with all of us as far as the natural progression and what happens in life. And I think a lot of the times, to answer your question, Tracy, as far as what you missed, I've addressed specifically a lot of people who are under the notion or under the mindset that things aren't the way that they are. Things might be a bit different from the way that they interpret them or believe them to be. I think a lot of people are living in a false reality. A lot of people, through their content creators, through the people that they watch, through their work conversations, are living in a reality that doesn't necessarily exist in Earth. A lot of people are walking in this matrix that you create through who you listen to, who you watch, who you surround yourself with. And that's all fine and dandy. There's nothing wrong with having a life and having things that you tie yourself into. Tracy, the reason I'm going off on this so much and really delving into a lot of these concepts, and they might seem random, is because I'm starting to see that a lot of our people, most of our people, have found themselves living in a matrix life that's based off of lies and fallacies. They're still plugged into the matrix, and a lot of them think that they're out of the matrix. A lot of them think that they've been awoken already. They think that they've already taken the red pill and that they've seen the light, and that they're able to live going forward and prosper with the advice that they've been given, when for the most part, that's not true. For the most part, we're starting to see that, I can't say that. For the most part, I feel like there are both sides of content creators who are leading people to various different slaughters. And we're going to start addressing that. I'm addressing it tonight. The number one thing we're talking about, and the first thing I decided to talk about, is the wall. What is the wall? How does it interpret, or how does it translate for men? What does it mean for men? What does it mean for women? And so that's what I've been talking about, and why I'm talking about everything that I'm talking about tonight. Right? There's just nobody being 1000% completely honest about things. And I think that there are truths on all sides of the field. I definitely think that there are truths on all sides of the field. But the problem is that there's no balance now. There's not a cry for balance. There's no need for balance. Nobody wants balance. Very few people want balance. Some of us do, but very few people do. At this point, it's going to keep spiraling and going out of control. And so I'll go ahead and just kind of bring what I'm going to be doing in the future, right? So I've been talking to these cats, man, these street guys. And it's interesting, man, these conversations that I'm having with these guys. These are hood These are hood dudes, you know, and so we'll have these interviews. They'll be coming up, so stay tuned for it. But the reason I'm trying to have these conversations is because I've talked about black men. I've said time and time and time again how, you know, this and that, black men this, black men that, how we have so many issues amongst ourselves, yada, yada, yada. And so I've been frequenting and going back to the hood, going back to some of the spots that I used to go. And, you know, I used to hang out, sleep in my car at and stuff like that. And speaking with some of the guys, you know, and offering the olive branch as far as conversation goes, because I want there to start being a conversation now. And I want there to start being dialogue and discourse amongst ourselves, right? Amongst ourselves. Because I know one thing at this point. I know that there will forever be enough discourse against each other as far as the sides of black women and black men. And so I'm gonna attack this angle from an interesting perspective, from an angle that I don't think anybody really attacks it from. And I'm gonna attack it from both sides. We talked about a lot of black men beforehand. But these stories I've heard from these guys are interesting. And I'm not giving excuses as to why anybody becomes a criminal. I'm not giving excuses as to why he becomes, you know, whatever it might be. I'm not saying anybody or any of these guys that come into these platforms are drug dealers, whatever it might be. We're not giving any details like that. We're not incriminating anybody. All right. Everybody has a various background and history. Whatever you think a person is, then I'll go ahead and let you ride with it. We're just going to talk about their upbringing and their history and how they got to be at the point of which they are. And that conversation has to happen. It has to happen for a few reasons. Number one, it has to address the savables and the non-savables. There are non-savable black men. There are non-savable black women at this point. This is just a fact. Number two, we have to start not normalizing, but we have to start humanizing those who are maybe seen as the Gloctavius, the Pookies, who are trying to change. And I say that to say this. I know I'm giving away so many of the future live streams here. I spoke with the brother, man. And he just broke down his story for me, dude. I mean, he's got a kid and a baby mother, and he's gone to jail for domestic charges and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's everything that we talk about, right? So I was like, let me just talk to this guy. It's everything we talked about. But the more he started explaining his story, I was like, I'm not giving excuses, but I have to be real and I have to be completely honest. And I think you're gonna understand. I think we'll start to see the more of these stories. I'm not giving excuses, and they aren't giving excuses either. But the biggest thing is that we're gonna start to have a big issue going forward, and this is the issue. The guys I spoke with who are in the streets told me, and they're telling me they want to do better. They just literally can't do better, right? One of the guys in particular, he was like, man, I want to do better. I want to get my CDL. I want to get trucking. I'm tired of being this. I'm tired of being that. I don't want to be doing what I'm doing right now, but I don't have the means to do anything else right now. And he literally doesn't. He doesn't have the means to do it. Now, in our conversations, as much as everything that I said against black men, if I was to not talk to him or understand his backstory, just looking from the outside in, he's a typical Pookie and a typical Gloctavius. He's a typical whatever you want to say, right? Whatever divestment term, whatever you want to use, whatever you might want to say is. But if I was to approach this brother from that perspective and only use shaming, tactics, humiliation, whatever it might have been to try and prove a point, to try and show why the wall is only existent for men, or to try and show why the wall doesn't exist for all, why black men are only bad and why black women aren't good, then that's going to negate a savable. That's going to potentially cause me to lose a black male who might be a Pookie Ray Ray right now to become a savable in this case, right? If I completely decide to shit on the guy because he has a criminal history and a record in the past, because he has a history, which I have a history and y'all haven't shit on me. A lot of women have shit on me, and maybe it's rightfully so. Who knows? But if I decide, and if y'all decided to shit on me, I wouldn't be here having this conversation right now. So at what point do we start to have the conversation about balance and stability, right? I've talked about this, and I know I'm talking about a lot of stuff right now, but this is the reason why this channel is going to start going in this direction. If we don't start going in this direction, then we're going to lose the potential and the opportunity to start saving savables. If I don't start interviewing guys that are in the streets, guys that truly are looking for a way out, if these guys are going to start seeing the representation of other content creators who might just bash them because they talk a certain way, because they have a certain criminal history, because they have a history which they can't be redeemed for, which is unfair for me to ask if I'm being completely honest with me, because I'm asking for my history to be redeemed for. But if I don't offer at least the olive branch for them to give their side of the story and to accept the fact that there's things that they can change, or that they wish that they could change, or that there are things that they're trying to change consistently or up to this or currently in this point in their life, if I don't at least give that opportunity, then the discussion between black men and women who are the degenerates of both sides will never get to happen. It'll never be had because the stories will never be shared. There can't be an opportunity for the solution to happen. But once again, it begs the question to begin with, Is there a need for solution? Do black people even want a fucking solution to begin with? Do divestment women want a solution with black males? A lot of black women who are divest don't want to be with black males at all. The solution for them is leaving black males alone. And if that's a solution, I completely get it 1000%. I think that might be a solution in some regards, in some regards it's not a solution. I think it depends on the person and the motives behind that person. There are good people in every race, there are bad people in every race. But I think the problem once again comes into play in the fact of the matter of, just like we start shaming the good black women who might be the single mom, who are trying to actually do the better thing, who are trying to listen to Kevin Scamios, or who are trying to listen to a black guy who has influence or whatever it might be, and make the right choice because she wants to assimilate and see her and to be seen as a woman who is trying to make and do the right things. Just as we see that happening there are black men who are trying to do the very same thing. There are black men who are trying to do the very same thing. And I think that is worthwhile of a cause. Now, whether or not you think that a black woman calling into Kevin Scamios or a black woman calling into another divestment channel to make herself a better person is a good thing or a bad thing, that's up to you. That's up to you to decide, right? I think a lot of times, once again, we're in a content creator war. Well, I like this content creator, but I don't like this one because of that. So pick whatever you want to follow and pick whatever you want to believe, right? But if you're expecting one side to accept one thing, then you have to at least give the chance for the other side to do the very same thing, right? You have to at least give them a chance to do the very same thing, all right? If you can't do that as a person, and let me say this, I'm not saying that everything I've said in the past about black men and evidence doesn't have any constitution or any merit to it. It absolutely does. But what I also am saying is that you have to be very careful to not turn into the very thing that you despise. Very careful to do that. And this is another thing I want you to take away from this video. Be very careful of not turning into the very same thing you despise. Because if you're the very same thing that you despise, you're going to end up getting the same results as the thing that you despise as well. And if you despise that thing and despise that person, you're hoping for failure. And I know that you're not hoping for failure for yourself. And so a lot of y'all are confused, and you've seen and you've experienced things, and a lot of you who are really big members on this channel, you might have gone to other content creators and you might have experienced backlash. You might see a lot of comments on this channel, a lot of comments from people who hate me, a lot of comments, whatever it might be. They despise me for this, and that. And that's fine. I'll never despise anybody, even if I really don't like that person. I'll never just full 1000% gung-ho be on YouTube telling the world that we need to go just murk this person. We need to go take them out. They need to be dealt with. And I'll send my entire minion, the squad, out to go do harm to that person. That's just not me. I would never do that, right? I would never do that. But in the same breath, be careful. In the same breath, the same evilness, the same actions that a lot of our community claims to hate from one side or the other ends up being the very thing that they do themselves, right? Right? I know I'm talking a lot here, but just bear with me. I think content creators on both sides now have identified weaknesses in their audiences and are just pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding away at the vulnerabilities and the weaknesses of their audience. They're pounding and they're pounding away at the vulnerabilities, the insecurities, and they're forming these communities that are not cult-like, but almost cult-minded, in that there's nothing that can happen wrong outside of this train of belief. This is how culture formed. When there's nothing that can happen wrong outside of a belief system, when the leader is the absolute supreme leader, when the person that you follow is a deity, is a god, is somebody that just is the flesh and blood of whatever creator or God or Allah or whatever a spiritual entity that you decide to follow or devote your life to, people end up seeing these people as heavenly entities and figures that can do no wrong. That's what a cult is. That's what radicalization is. That's what people who end up having certain upstyle or upbringings, lifestyles, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're halfway like around the world doing some crazy stuff, and you're like, dang, what happened? They say, well, they were radicalized. Well, what does that mean exactly? Well, that means somebody got into their heart. They were able to connect with something that somebody had been missing. They were able to connect with some kind of pain that was gone, that was not being fulfilled, that wasn't being taken care of for such a long time, that somebody recognized that and was able to capitalize off of that pain, off of that hurt, off of that torment, off of that susceptibility, and was able to manifest that into another warrior in their army, right? We call that radicalization. That's what YouTube is becoming now. YouTube is becoming a place where we start to radicalize bullshit. YouTube is starting to become a place where we start to normalize bullshit and hatred, right? And then when when people do get radicalized and they find themselves in these militaristic groups overseas and they get their head blown off, right? Everybody sits back and wonders what happened, right? Right? What happened? Why did they go to Africa, right? What made this person want to just go on a full-blown rampage? What made this person want to just shoot up a school? What made this person want to do that? They seemed like they had everything together, right? They seemed like it was together. Well, it depends. It depends on where that person was. It depends on what the message is. It depends on the susceptibility. It depends on how radical of a person they were talking to. It depends on just how much and how deeply they were willing to let that person influence their lives. And if you're willing to let a stranger, a content creator, somebody that you don't even fucking know, influence your life deep enough to the point to where you're willing to actually have real life implications based off of something that started digitally through internet bandwidth, then you're in a very, very serious predicament and situation in life, because that lets me know that you're able to be swayed by the right person at any given moment in time. And if there's anything that I know for myself, it's that I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Barack Obama himself. Whatever I believe, I believe. Whatever I think and whatever I know, I know. And I don't know everything, and I'm seeking to do the very best and learn as much as I can while I'm here. But the one thing I do know is that people who know wrong, people who do know wrong, people who are hateful people 24/7 because you don't believe what they believe in, people who are just fucking evil ass people because you don't believe what they believe in, you don't like their religion, you don't think this, you feel that, you feel this, you feel that because I didn't do this right, or because your favorite content creator, people who are like that in this world, who only want one point or one picture presented for themselves, have big fucking issues. And this is what we're dealing with in the Black community now. This is why the Black community has no fucking leaders. This is why you can't name somebody that's a public authority and a public figure, somebody that's actually popular on YouTube, for not doing no fucking bullshit. You can't name a Black person like that right now. You can't. None of us can. This is the reason why, and this is why this even gets further in the future, right? The only person we can name most of the time is Dr. Ben Carson, who Trump put as the Surgeon General of America, for God's sakes, right? But this is the continual madness that happens in Black. And thank you for the $5 super chat. I just saw this. Blaine Melena says it shows how Black men don't fear God. SMH. Thank you, Blaine, for the $5 super chat. You see, and this is why I talk about, and this is why we will start to have conversations on both sides. I need you to understand, if you're a Black woman watching this and you watch this in the future, there are going to be things that I say that are going to upset you, whatever it might be. It's going to be the truth, and trust me, there's going to be validity to it, and there's a reason why I'm saying that, but just take it and understand it, and I will have it in a manner to where nobody's being shamed, because I'm not even, there's no shame as a Black man that you should feel from watching this. This is just the utter and complete honest truth about everything that happens, about everything that I've been thinking about for the past couple of days, about where I'm going to take this channel and the void that I'm going to fill, because this is going to be huge, and this is going to be something that all people can plug into, and this is going to be something that people just aren't saying, but all people, both Black women and both Black men, know this to be true. This is a fact. Okay, this is a fact. I appreciate the compliments tonight. This is an educational show tonight. I see that. How do I say that? Let me think. Men of all races, white men, Asian men, Black men, whatever you think and whatever you believe in. Women of all races, white men, white women, Asian women, Latino women. Don't go so, don't be so, don't flow so, don't just move so liquefied in life that you forget that you forget who you are. Don't be so liquefied in life that you forget what's going on. I know a lot of you think that you're woke. A lot of people think they're woke. A lot of people think they understand what's going on in life. Don't be so stuck in the dating war. Don't be so stuck in divestment. Don't be so stuck in hatred. Don't be so stuck in anger. Don't be so stuck in fear. Don't be so stuck in rejection. Don't be so stuck in the wall. Don't be so stuck in the danger zone. Don't be so stuck in Kevin Samuels and red pill and the mgtow and smoking. Don't be so stuck in drugs. Don't be so stuck in anything so much to where your existence, the very nature, the very miracle of you being here is dulled. The very flame that you exist on this earth for is never able to even be seen to the fullest extent or to the fullest brightness or to the fullest warmth or clarity. Don't get so tied into the matrix that you forget that the matrix is what you're living in. You see, a lot of you guys, you think I understand women nature, truth. A lot of women, truth. I understand that. I understand what's really going on, truth, and this, that, and I thought that we really understood. I thought that we were there, but I'm learning that a lot of us don't really understand as much, right? Now, all of this is important. It definitely is. But all of this without a solution, all of this without moving somewhere is just volatile. All of this is just for nothing in this sense. I don't make these videos talking about black men. I didn't make videos talking about black men or black women to simply sell a dream and to simply make money. I did it because there was a legitimate concern and there was a legitimate market, and there were people that were literally accepting what I was saying and agreeing with what I was saying. And there were people that needed to hear what I was saying so they could have something to say in rebuts to or in rebutting to the conversations they have on a day-to-day basis. And now I'm starting to see that there are black men that need to have something to say in rebutting for a lot of black women who don't give them the chance. There's something to say for a lot of the black guys out there who are trying to really try and do something, but they don't have anything. Because guess what? That was me. That was me. That was me. And I had black women give me a chance. I had them give me a chance, and I'm doing that. And guess what? Now at this point in my life, I'm able to help black women out now. I can help black women out now. I can change something for a black woman now. I can help a black woman. I can take a black woman off of the streets and put her into an apartment complex now. I can do that. I couldn't do that 5 years ago. But have it as it may, if everything could have gone right, that certain people who might have it out against me, if everything could go right in their head, they wouldn't want me to be in a position to actually have and to be able to help out another black woman, another black male, another whatever it might be. I'm looking to help out as many black people as possible. I'm looking to help out black women who own businesses, who own this and who own that. Don't get so caught up in the anger of content creators that you fail to fucking understand that we're still trying to progress black people as a whole. All right. Don't hate somebody so much that even if they're trying to do something to help the same person that you're trying to help, you decide not to support it because you don't hate that. You don't like that content creator. Oh, I don't like truth, so I'm not going to buy candles from this company. What the fuck does that say about you as a person? This is what's wrong with the black community and the black mindset. Because you don't like somebody, you have a grudge with somebody, you still can't recognize excellence in that person. If I don't like you, I'm still going to give you your props. I'm still going to compliment you if you're talented. I'll still recognize the excellence that you have. I'll just also recognize the fucked up character that you have as well. And we're having that a lot in the black community. And the problem with YouTube is that YouTube does not censor success based off of somebody's character. It censors it based off of talent. Just like the music industry, we sensationalize destruction in the black community, and YouTube is no different. The problem with sensationalizing destruction on YouTube in relation to black people is that it follows the same trends that it's been following since the late 70s, which is destruction, which is that there's no hope for anybody. Leave all niggas, and that's just, we can't say that anymore. We just can't say that anymore. That's just not going to be a solution. There's nothing that's solving that problem. If not dating black men is a solution, that's fine. But once again, you can't say that you want black men to stop talking about dating white women, whilst you have channels talking about how shit black men are. I understand that there are a lot of black men who aren't shit. I've talked about it for the past year, right? But that's also a hypocrisy to say black men aren't shit, right? And then be upset when black men say black women aren't shit, right? But this is what's going on both sides now. And it's starting to become apparent to me that a lot of black guys who aren't shit, not a lot, I can't say a lot, but some black guys who aren't shit, I've been having these conversations with, and the dudes are trying to do something. The dudes are legitimately trying to do something in life. They just have nothing to do with it. Yo, I talked with this run brother, man, tatted on the face and everything, right? His name's James. I call him King James. I said, James, I'm gonna hit you up, man. He said, all right, man. Man, I've been telling everybody about it, bro. I'm excited about it. He said, man, I'm excited about it, bro. Hey, let me know when, bro. Hey, when we shooting, bro? When we shooting, man? I said, give me a couple seconds, bro. My bad. I'm supposed to have some things set up. It's been a hell of a week. Give me a couple seconds. He's like, man, I'm ready, man. I got a lot to say, you know. But we have to have somewhere for it to go. Me in that moment shaming that brother isn't going to change and potentially help us to not have another Pookie. What are we really trying to do this for? What are you in this divestment thing for? If you're just in it because you want to make a better relationship for yourself, go ahead, make a better relationship. That's not my main theme of the channel. The theme of the channel isn't, the message of my channel isn't divestment. The message of my channel is the honest truth, right? The honest truth, all right? And I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to tell the honest truth. Somebody has to. Fuck, somebody has to. I've heard a lot of stories, man. A lot of stories. Sparkling Water said, I need some candles. What's her website? Her website is uniqueboutiquecandles.com. I'll drop it in the chat right now. Actually, I'll drop her Instagram. You can look at the candles on her Instagram as well as her website. So she's doing a lot of great things. That's the website there, uniqueboutiquecandles.com. Also, don't forget to check out mgtow.com. Mystic Tone is on Instagram now. And a lot of y'all have been following her. She has a bath product or a set for men that's on her website, though. Yo, check it out. If you're a guy and you're watching it, it's on the homepage of her website. They'll have packages for guys and for girls, hair oils and stuff like that. Check it out, mgtow.com. Quality stuff, ladies and gentlemen, quality stuff. Support our people, mgtow.com. I appreciate that. I promise you, everybody that's emailed me, I'll get back to your emails here in a second. So we need to start having a lot of conversations, man. We need to start having a lot of conversations. Because we have to. At this point, we just have to. There's no choice. There's no choice. I've been thinking about this, y'all. I've taken time away, and there's going to be some changes, man. There's going to be some changes, but it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be entertaining videos. So you're going to see the interviews in a different setting. It's not going to be in this setting. It's going to look a little differently. And so, yeah, I don't know. Uppity, welcome to the panel. Kier's on the panel as well still. Uppity, it's good to see you. I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate everything that you've done and contributed to the sector. What did you think on everything said tonight, your comments, concerns, or just your message in general?
I'm laughing at Kier in the private chat. She thank you. I needed that. I've been crying for 3 days, so every smile matters. I feel like what you're saying is really powerful, and I also feel like you have been so expressive, and so we've never heard you use this much profanity before, right? You're allowed to. I'm just saying, like, you know, I see the passion in what you're saying, and I don't want people to lose, you know, the message and the shock. What you're saying about echo chambers is pure facts, and it's literally the honest truth. Let's say the guy you want to have, you know, the men that you want to interview on your channel. Sometimes a group of people are so isolated in an echo chamber that when the truth hits them,
right,
it penetrates. And you'd be shocked. I remember I used to practice Islam in a Somali community, and the people never left their community. So when a white Muslim came to the mosque, all the kids stood around that white woman like she was an effing animal. And they were like, wow, isn't this interesting? I've never seen a white Somali. And that was their response. And clearly she's not a white Somali. There's no such thing. She was a white Muslim. But they had been so isolated in their own little echo chamber community that they had no idea, the children had no idea that Muslims also came in white and that they come in all colors.
Wow.
So when that hit them, it was an educational moment. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
My internet is doing something really wrong. So it hit them in that moment, right? Because when they said the thing, I've never seen a white Somali, it became a teachable moment. Like, oh, you mean to tell me that okay, I get it. So we can't do much so much as long as we stay in our echo chamber. And there are savables that end up in these echo chambers. Exactly. You can't save, you know, the fringe minority. Not everybody can come with you. If anybody could liberate everybody, then it definitely would have been Harriet Tubman, right? She could have took everybody with him. I'm seeing a sister from Ethiopia, Eritrea, like, hey girl, nice to see you up here. But I'm just saying, like, and
Hi.
she's saying in the private chat that as an East African, I can say that this happens between Ethiopia and Eritrea, right? So what I'm trying to say is that this exists in so many different communities, and the Black community has the same problem. We have these narrow-minded ways about ourselves, and we exist inside of these echo chambers, and sometimes you lose the good guys within that. And it's important to hear a different message. It's important not to be so turned off because one thing you heard you didn't like, so you just walked away and you cursed everybody that you walked away from, and they're such bad people. You should be able to be in a place where, I mean, you hear something you like, you hear something you don't like, you grow. You grow.
Absolutely. Yep, that's it. You just said it. You hit it around the head. We'll lose the savables in this process. That's it. But I appreciate that. Blaine, Melena, go ahead. Blaine. Oh,
Hi.
Hop down. Hi,
It is
Blaine.
It is midnight over here on the East Coast.
Okay.
Gosh.
Sorry, my bad, Blaine. Well, we're gonna have a lot more live streams and content coming up. Like, it's gonna be damn near every day now, y'all. I promise. We have so much more. So we'll have earlier live streams. I've been getting asked that for forever, so we'll have earlier live streams coming up for sure. We'll probably be streaming 2 times a day.
To say this.
All right.
It's like
Yeah,
what Uppity said is it happens a lot. I actually know some of my friends who have type 4 hair that grew up like hearing comments like you don't look real like Ethiopian because the media says that they look dang near white or Arab.
Mhm.
And that's mad. Sometimes it's mad ghetto. Like
Yeah.
especially when you grow up in a white area like I did. And you hear whites, they love y'all, but black let's just say I went that side of high school was Blackistan.
Okay.
I'm not joking. It is crazy. I just graduated this year, so.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
Thank you.
So let me go. We'll go ahead and wrap it up for you in one concise sentence. Let your final word on this subject. What is? Mhm.
Yeah, it's a lot of fetishization too, as well.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up hearing that. It's annoying.
Yeah. Well, listen, Blaine, Melena, I appreciate you hopping up. I'm going to continue for a little bit, but you can stay on the panel, okay?
Bye.
Oh, okay. Bye. She left. But yeah, Blaine's an artist. She definitely sounds like an artist right there. I can hear an artist. I can know an artist when I hear one. You know, I dealt with a lot of a lot of artists in college, and so I think that's awesome right there. I love it. Blaine Melena. And so yeah, but Uppity, I want to kind of follow up on what she said here. She said it perfectly. Going forward, and from here on out, there's got to be a place where the conversations can happen on both sides. I don't think there's a single place where guys can legitimately bring, you know, I guess you could say something or a past traumatic incident up, you know, in any channel on YouTube at this point, and have a platform and have people that are willing to at least listen with open, accepting hearts and ears and minds, right? Who knows what that could do for a person? Sometimes a person just needs to be heard. Who knows? Maybe it won't solve anything. Maybe it'll change nothing. But obviously what's happening right now isn't doing shit. So, I don't know. Who knows? I know it'll be an interesting story, so we'll see. I'll read a couple of y'all's comments here. We'll end up wrapping this up here in a little bit. I'm moving my mic so much today. I can't get the perfect position for the mic. Pause. Taka says the cussing is candy. I say cuss. You have to put the medicine in candy to reach the medicine in the candy to reach the people who aren't the medicine. I think I kind of understand what you're saying there. Interesting. Learning IT says change is good. Yeah, definitely. Y'all know me. I'm pretty aggro with things I do on this channel. So if I bring change, I'll make sure that it's always going to be better. And it'll be better. It's going to be cool.
I'm curious to know what it is.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's just gonna be like a different set essentially. It's gonna be a different set and just a different style of video as far as the interviews I'll be doing and a new podcast type series I'll be doing as well. So that's the best I can give. So I'm designing a new set right now, and it's just gonna be a lot more fun and interactive. So good stuff coming up. Good stuff coming up. That's all I can say. I can't show you anything. That's all I can say. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap this up. I appreciate y'all. We've been Madison equals medicine. Okay, my bad. I'm old. We've been going for a while. I'm gonna be back in probably tomorrow. Like I said, I'm gonna start going and producing a lot of content going on out from here on forward. So expect to see videos from me every day, and if not every day, at least every other day, or that day I'll skip a day and then day, maybe skip another day, skip a day. You understand what I mean? So it might not be every day, but damn near. And a lot of good stuff's getting ready to happen. So stay tuned. If you're a member, I appreciate you being a channel member. I'm slacking. I'm trash for the channel membership content creation. I'll accept that. I know you don't want me to say I'm trash. I'm definitely trash for the channel membership content creation. But stick with me. I promise it's coming up. I've been real busy taking care of too much and thinking about a lot, but I almost have everything down packed. So Kier, I'm just going to give you your final words, and I'm going to take you down before we roll out our outro. Or you could just say bye if you'd like to, Kier, since we've been talking about everything tonight. But I'm going to see you on the next one. Okay, Kier, I'm going to see you on the next one.
Yeah, we've been not we, but you've been talking a lot. It's good to see you again. It's nice to hear you doing your monologues again. So it's nice that you're back to that. I can't wait to see the new content. But yeah, I really do. I can't wait to see this. But yeah, you guys not you guys, but you men really need to get on this whole attractiveness on y'all side, because I think a lot of you are your delusion is skyrocketing a little bit, because sorry to say, but you guys aren't as attractive to us as you think you are, which is why a lot of you guys don't get random compliments when you're on the street, because yeah.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, Kier, and we'll see you soon, my dear.
Oh yeah, that doesn't include you, THT, or some of the guys I've seen on here, but yeah. I just wanted to separate. There is a separation, but there is a delusion, but there is a separation, just to let you know. Not everybody's in that group.
Thank you, Kier. I love you for saying that. We might get roasted a little bit, but I love you for saying that. Kier, always so kind. Thank you, my love. We'll see Kier soon. And y'all are lovely as well. Everybody on this channel is beautiful. Every single subscriber, all of them are beautiful. Even the guys we hate, they're good looking too. Anyways, we're gonna wrap this up. I'll be back. A lot more content going forward. Be prepared. Go through it with an open mind. There might be more instances of situations where you get upset. The content might be a little shocking. It might be like, whoa, what the heck is truth going? What the heck is truth got going? It might be even more people talking about it, but stay tuned, because I don't know. People just talk about me all the time. Anyways, I love you. I'll be back tomorrow, pre-recorded video and probably another live stream. Thank you for everybody that donated, contributed. Links are in the description box below. Support the channel, support everybody that supports the channel, all the businesses. Support yourself. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, one life to live. Don't get too caught up in this, right? Enjoy your life, guys. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the live streams. Enjoy your life. Take it seriously, but also make sure that you vacation. Take your own time seriously. Take care of yourself. And if need be, unplug for a while if need be. We're changing. We're moving forward. Different content coming up. I'm excited. I'm happy to see y'all here. I'm glad that you stuck with me. And onward march, right? The next segment of The Honest Truth and the Truth Seekers Live. It's going to stir up a lot of drama, but drama's the middle name. Drama's the middle name, and YouTube is the game. Drama's the middle name. YouTube is the game. The objective is fame. No, I'm just kidding. The objective is not fame. There he goes again, trying to chase. There goes truth. Always doing it for the money. Tricking all of them. I'm out. I love y'all.